Hello, today I'm going to be showing you something. I have no idea what it is. I'll just grab something randomly here. My massive amounts of projects. This is actually not even all my projects. Um, I'll go to my network drive and I'll show you um, another set or list of projects. If I can get there it is. Here it is, Visual Basic Projects. I also I have 2008 as well. Inside here's more projects. In fact, I'll even just show you samples. Goes on forever. Miscellaneous. Again, goes on forever. I do a lot of prototyping. Games. Pretty good size. Um, yeah. Lots of stuff here. Go ahead and cancel out of that though. Let's go ahead and let's grab something. Let's grab something locally. Let's take a look at Screensaver. Because I believe this is probably going to have some interest to you guys as well, since you're probably dealing with flat planes a lot with the XY coordinate type system. I would assume working with aircraft and aviation, you're probably going to be working with XYZ with this three-dimensional, but two-dimensional is still there as well. So I'll go ahead and show you this very simple screensaver I made. But it uses an XY position. So it might be of some use or some interest, of course. Even though it's not very complex, it's still interesting, I think. So here's our load event anyway. What we're doing here is we want to capture your screen's width or your X value, and we want to capture your screen's height or your Y value. Once we know that, we know what your screen's resolution is. So once we know what your screen resolution is, I know what size to set the form. So that's what we're doing here. Once I know I've set my form to the correct screen size, then I can draw my image, or my fire ant image in this case. Now, since this is an animation, I need to use an integer or int, and then I define the background. We're on frame 0. And then just some other stuff, of course, to minimize. The Windows native obviously needs to be maximized. There's sound, and then there's the cursor position needs to go to 1, 1 up here. So when you move your cursor, it'll actually exit out of the program because this is a screensaver. So the mouse event we don't need to worry about, but the paint event we might need to take a look at it real quick so we know what it's doing. What it's doing here is just cycling through. This integer values, it's telling it to go to the next background. Since our select case is this int background, it's just going to increase this case statement by 1 until it gets all the way down to case statement 5, where it tells it to go back to 0, so it loops. Essentially, that's what we've done here. We've just created a loop. There's probably another way to do this, but this is just the way I've learned to do it by teaching myself, working with paint methods, and it's pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to follow. I'm sure you could probably do it with a loop as well. You could probably shorten this code up a little bit using a loop or a for loop or something, but for me this is just easier to read. And then we have our mouse event, of course. Even though I wasn't going to show you, I'll just go ahead and show you real quick. Just sets the cursor's position and tells it to exit. Tells you to show the cursor and exit the application when its position is greater than 5, essentially on the X and Y axis. So that's the screensaver. It actually works quite easily. In fact, I'll just go ahead and debug it real quick. You'll see what I'm talking about. And it has sound. Alright, see, I just move my mouse and it automatically turns itself off. If you've never built a screensaver, what you do is you change the executable extension to .scr, I believe. I'd have to double check on that, but that sounds right to me. So that's all you do. You just take an executable and you change the file extension. And that converts it directly to a screensaver. You can use any Microsoft Windows machine to go out and browse to it, and then it'll automatically install. I think you can even right click to install it and configure it as well once you convert it to a screensaver. So that's the screensaver. Let's see what else we got. In fact, well, I'll go ahead and stop the video now, and yeah.